Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on Monday, July 20th. First and foremost, y'all, I'd like to apologize for not being here on Friday. Last week, I was busy grinding with work, doing all my documentaries on the main channel, Jay-Z Uncut. I wasn't getting any sleep, and I had a crazy migraine all week long, and I just had to take a step back and not stream Friday. So my apologies if I left you over the weekend without a podcast to listen to. But you should know we posted a documentary on Saturday ranking the champions of the 2020s. So again, go check that out. Jay-Z Uncut on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we got ourselves a trade. That's right. We're going to be talking about it today and not much else. I always, whenever I miss a day that's on our schedule, I always got to take a second to get back and locked in and make sure I know how to talk, when to talk, and what to talk about. All right, so we'll continue with the series that we talk about that we're doing with every team and what they've done and what they're going to do and where they're at this Wednesday, because we have multiple teams on that list. I believe the Brooklyn Nets, Charlotte Hornets. So, guys, I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review, please. YouTube, TikTok, be sure to drop a like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. And Twitch chat, you guys already know. Y'all got the easiest job in the whole entire world. Just sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or an energy drink, and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a trade. We got a trade. And in case you were wondering why the lower third is just we got a trade and not the actual trade details, that's because I did that at 8:29 a.m. the second before we went live. I did everything I needed to do except for the lower third, so that's all y'all get. My apologies, visual listeners or visual watchers. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why Sham said this was breaking, but the Oklahoma City Thunder trading all defensive wing Lou Dort to the Atlanta Hawks in a 3-team deal that sends 3 second-round picks to OKC, former number 1 pick Zaccharie Risacher to the Dallas Mavericks, and Ryan Nembhard to Atlanta. Now, a couple more details that we got to discuss. Oklahoma City has now acquired 7 second-round picks this offseason, shed $224 million in payroll and tax, and positions themselves comfortably under the second apron via the trades of Dort, Isaiah Joe, and Aaron Wiggins. Just to remind y'all, they already traded Aaron Wiggins to Atlanta just a month ago. So they got Lou Dort and Aaron Wiggins now from OKC. Rather than simply declining Dort's $17.7 million team option to save the money, the Thunder picked it up and acquired 3 future assets, created a $17 million trade exemption, and placed their 2025 championship stalwarts in position for a new long-term deal in Atlanta, which was not viable in OKC, which, long story short, they couldn't afford Dort without staying in the second apron, and they decided that Lou Dort was not worth staying in the second apron. Let's continue going into these details. The Hawks now are teaming up a 27-year-old elite defender in Dort with Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker on the wings, and will have $40 million plus in cap space next summer. Atlanta pursued several wings this offseason before landing Dort. So this is why we got to talk about this stuff. There's a lot of things that we got to talk about. Now, I was going to ask you guys who you would prefer that I started with, but I think it's very obvious who we got to start with. And that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's get them out of the way and then continue our talk, okay? So OKC was the only team left in the second apron because I believe the Orlando Magic are literally just a veteran minimum contract away from being in the second apron, and they just got Vucci, baby. So if the Magic want to do any moves, they got to offload some contracts. Otherwise, they will remain the only team in the second apron. Thank you to my chat for correcting me and saying when I said that the Magic are the only second apron team, they are 1 veteran minimum contract away from entering the second apron. So let's go ahead and look at the Oklahoma City Thunder salary, because as we all know, Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander account for $750 million, right? They also re-signed Isaiah Hartenstein to $23 million. Alex Caruso still on contract for $19.5 million. Jay Will was signed last year with, of course, another $7 million team option next year. And of course, Cason Wallace. So now with this team and what they have to do, they are technically able to give Cason Wallace a contract extension. Do I believe that they're going to do that now? No, I don't. I think they're going to wait on giving Cason Wallace that contract extension because they just don't have the money yet, right? So here's what I believe Oklahoma City is going to do. What I think is they are going to go into this year. They're going to keep Cason Wallace's extension, and they are going to dare him to enter restricted free agency next summer. Now, here's the issue by doing that. What they're going to try is they are going to try to win an NBA championship with that starting lineup that we all know. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Cason Wallace is going to start at the 2. The 3 is going to be J-Dub. The 4 is going to be Chet. And the 5 is going to be Isaiah Hartenstein. They're going to try to win with that lineup, okay? And honestly, it's a really good lineup. It's what they ran for the majority of the year with Lu Dort out. Could they start McCain? Sure. But I believe they believe that the future of their team is going to be Cason Wallace as well. If you want my opinion, Jared McCain should be the sixth man, the first guy off the bench, or at least the first guard off the bench. I do not believe Jared McCain will be starting. I believe they're going to start the season with Cason Wallace starting. They liked what they saw out of him, especially in the playoffs when nobody else can get going. I want to talk about Lu Dort specifically, but first I want to talk about Oklahoma's side. They're going to try to win it all next year. And if they fail, you will start to see, oh, that's right, they still have AJ Mitchell. That's right. Yeah, good comms, Chet. They still have AJ Mitchell. So if you want my opinion, the smart thing to do would be to have Cason Wallace start. Since he is on a contract year and they robbed AJ Mitchell blindly in broad daylight, they robbed him. It's going to be interesting to see. So whether they believe AJ Mitchell or Cason Wallace or Jared McCain, I think Jared McCain will be off the bench, but it's going to be between AJ Mitchell and Cason Wallace. In my opinion, you should try Cason Wallace. I think he's just a better Lu Dort, and you can argue with the wall. I think he's a better defender than Lu Dort. I think he's a better shooter than Lu Dort. I think he's better at putting the ball on the floor than Lu Dort. So I like that. Okay. If Oklahoma does not win next year, let's say they falter and like get knocked out in the second round or the first round. Let's just say something. Second round, you will start to see the Chet Holmgren and the J-Dub trade talk. You will. I'll put my life on that. The issue with this is with their salary and with Shai's contract extension still not yet started. He's making 41 million next year, and then it jumps up to 60 million, 65 million, and then 70 million. First of all, that 18 million trade extension that we talked about is going to help them a lot around the edges. But the thing is, next year, if they lose in an embarrassing fashion, which I don't believe will happen, they will shop J-Dub and Chet Holmgren. Unfortunately, you have to now. If it doesn't work for multiple years with a core that expensive, it becomes an issue. It becomes a major issue. Somebody in the TikTok just lied and said they got 50 million in cap space right now. My good friend, they are in the first apron and they are 5 million under the second apron. So I don't know what 50 million cap space you're referring to. They have no cap space. They are paying the max tax that you ever could. They have zero cap space. All they had is a trade exemption. That's it. I don't know who told you they have 50 million in cap space, but that is not a thing. That is not a thing. Let's talk about Lu Dort now and what I believe that he's going to be doing for the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Lu Dort is a tricky player to talk about, okay? Last year was a weird season for him. It was a very weird season. He averaged 8 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, half a block, and 27 minutes of play. And here's the bad thing about Lu Dort. He was horrible, which nobody really wants to talk about. He was not a good basketball player last year. He wasn't. Let's talk about his regular season specifically. 38% from the field. That's not just like bad. That's actual a liability on the court. Let's talk about his 3-point percentage. The thing that he's supposed to do well. The thing that he has done well for the last 2 seasons. 34.4%. That's not good either. You're probably thinking, Jay-Z, what about the playoffs? Well, it's even worse, actually. His minutes dropped, his points dropped, his rebounds dropped, his assists didn't drop, his steals dropped, his blocks dropped, his field goal percentage dropped, and his 3-point percentage dropped. It was torture watching him. 36.6% from the field, and get this, below 31% from 3. Below 31% from 3. Let's go ahead and look at the regular season as well, because it's bad. It's bad. Last 2 years, he was shooting 41% from 3. And then the year before that, 39.5% from 3. Why did he drop to 34.4 on less attempts? 34.4. Could it be injuries? No. Lou Dort's a very healthy guy. He played 69 games last year, played 71 the year before, 79 the year before that, 74 the year before that. The last time you got to look for him to play less than 69 games was 4 years ago. So when you look at the other guys around the team, it's going to be very awkward for the Atlanta Hawks. In fact, I don't love this for the Atlanta Hawks. Offensively, I don't love this for the Atlanta Hawks. Is the plan to just hope that Jalen Johnson evolves into something greater? Because I think that's a good bet. I think that's a great bet. Jalen Johnson will get better. Let's look at Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Do I think he's going to get better? In the playoffs, I hope so, because he was horrible in the playoffs. In fact, I got to look at how bad he actually was in the playoffs. Oh, you know what? He wasn't that bad. The only thing that was bad was his field goal percentage. He shot 38% from the field. That's not good. 38% from the field is not good. But his 3-point percentage, he was still stroking it. So, overall, what confuses me about the Atlanta Hawks would be, honestly, their starting five, okay? I just talked about the Hawks last week. In case you guys don't know, I'm doing a series where I talk about every single team. What they are, what they're doing, where they're going. I just talked about the Hawks. So it's a shame that I just talked about them and now they made this trade, because now it complicates things. What is this team's starting lineup? Is CJ McCollum starting point guard? Is he starting at point guard? CJ McCollum? Who's starting? Devin Carter? Who is starting at point? It must be CJ McCollum. Okay, let's say it's CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum is starting at the 1. Starting at their 2, who do you guys think? It's kind of confusing here. It should be CJ. But who's starting at the 2? Is Fleming's starting at... I don't think Fleming's is starting at point guard. They were sort of running Nickeil Alexander-Walker at the 1 last year. So, okay, let's just say that's interchangeable. Nickeil can be 2. Let's say Nickeil's 2. Is Dyson your 3? Dyson's your 3? Is that what we're talking about? And then 4 is Jalen Johnson and 5 is Onyeka Okongwu? Again, they didn't address this issue about their front court. They didn't address this issue. You can't beat many teams in the East with a front court like this. The Miami Heat have Bam Adebayo and Giannis Antetokounmpo in their front court. The Pistons have, for now, Paul Reed and John Collins. I think you can beat that one. They don't have Jalen Duren yet. Let's go over some more. Philly, you still haven't beat if healthy. I mean, the Magic still have Paolo and Wendell Carter Jr. There's some good front courts in the East. And the fact that you are still rolling out with a front court of Jalen Johnson and Onyeka Okongwu, I'm not a fan of. And now I do want to say, I love Onyeka. I love Jalen Johnson. But Onyeka's a 4 and Jalen Johnson's a 4. And the fact that you're forcing Onyeka to be a 5, I don't love. Now, I know what you guys are probably saying you can probably roll out Jock Landale. Okay, you can roll out Zuby. I don't care. You can roll out Muhammad Gay. I'm sorry, I don't care either. So it's very tricky because you have Aaron Wiggins now, right? You have Flemings now, who I know they want to use. You got Kispert, who they were trying. You got Lou Dort now. There's a big log jam with the wings in this team still. Why did you trade for Aaron Wiggins if you were going to get Lou Dort later? I'm sure they're hoping that, yeah. Dude, it's so confusing. The Hawks right now have a very confusing team. Can I be honest with everybody? It's a very confusing team. I'm not, they have talent. They do. But can this talent work together? Had this team gotten a guy like Walker Kessler, I'd be crowning them as a guaranteed playoff team next year. They got really good players individually, but I don't love the cohesiveness of this team. You can't start Lou Dort because you have Dyson Daniels. You can't have 2 liabilities offensively. The Pistons just tried that in the playoffs and it didn't work. You can't have 2 liabilities in the starting lineup. Okay? So Lou Dort and Dyson Daniels can't be on the court at the same time, especially if Lou Dort's 3-point shot isn't going to find the rim anymore. It's very tricky. Now, I do want to say this. The writing was on the wall for Zaccharie Risacher. When they got Aaron Wiggins, we all said that's it. They're going to trade Zaccharie Risacher. He's a bust. They're going to trade him. Okay. And then it didn't help that in the midseason last year, they also traded for Jonathan Kuminga, and then they balled out with him. So when I look at this team now, it's very interesting. They got some very fun pieces. I wish they would have got Walker Kessler. I think a Walker Kessler pickup, I think that would have been very fun for them. I think having a true big, if healthy, next to Jalen Johnson, oh my God, I think that paint pressure would have been incredible for them. So I do feel bad for Zaccharie Risacher. And listen, man, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be rude. Let's talk about Zaccharie Risacher, y'all. Let's talk about Risacher. I don't want to be mean, so I'm gonna just be genuine, as you guys all know me. Last season, in his second season, he averaged under 10 points. He saw his minutes reduced to 22 and a half, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, half a block. His field goal percentage was 45.5%, and his three-point percentage was 36.8. Now, I think a change in scenery was really good for him. He needed it. In the playoffs, he was horrible. I think he only played in 3 playoff games. They didn't trust him. He played in 3 playoff games, less than 8 minutes. I think his 3-point shooting is going to improve. I think they're going to ask him to do more in Dallas. They don't have that many wings. I mean, there's another issue with Dallas. They do have wings. They have too many wings, in my opinion. They do. Because when you look at them, they still have PJ Washington. They still have Klay Thompson. They still have Cooper Flagg. They just traded for Aldama, who's a wing type. He's a 4. They just got Zaccharie Risacher. They still have Caleb Martin. They still have Najee Marshall. He still has the same problem that he just had, y'all. I don't know what the Mavs are doing. You can't have too many wings. The Hawks just had too many wings. So Risacher lost his minutes. So I don't know what their plan is going to. Can you move Washington? A lot of teams want him. Can you move Klay Thompson? I'm sure a lot of teams could use him. Can you move Najee Marshall? I'm sure he could help some teams. You still have Max Christie too. I'd even say him. I don't know, man. I got to be honest. The Mavericks are doing a lot of weird stuff too. I don't love their team. I don't love what they're doing. If you just traded for Risacher, why do you still have all these wings? It's weird. I don't like it. You should move Klay. You should move PJ. I'm sure Detroit's been calling them nonstop. You should. This is way too many wings, y'all. Risacher, I don't know. They're going to have to go out of their way to try to develop him. Morris Johnson's more of a big, but yeah. I hate to say it. But this reminds me so much of Anthony Bennett. Not just because Anthony Bennett was bad, but this reminds me of that situation so much. When he got traded to Minnesota, they were already developing so many young players. They didn't have room to develop Anthony Bennett. So now with the Mavericks trading for Risacher, pennies on the dollar, they don't have room to develop him. The reason I bring up Anthony Bennett is because he was the number 1 pick. Risacher was the number 1 pick. They currently constructed, they don't have the room to develop this guy. People are telling me he's going to get right here. He's going to get right. Why would they play him over guys who they've been developing? In Max Christie, in a Morris Johnson that's just got drafted, in Derek Lively. Obviously, he's not taking a center spot. In Prosper, in Cooper Flagg, in Santi Aldama, who they just traded for, in Klay Thompson, who's for PJ Washington. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't love this. Is their goal to develop them? Then I like it. If he's just going to be sent to the G League, man, I don't know what to say. I'm rooting for him. I hope Risacher I hope a fresh start helps him. But the only way that he could help them is if he plays for them. I do read chat. It's not disrespectful, but I am doing a podcast, so I'm not going to go out of my way and read TikTok chat. I do go out of my way and read my Twitch chat. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Risacher. I hope they decide to develop, but my big problem is, ladies and gentlemen, this team is not a development team. It's not. You got to make trades. Kyrie Irving being on your team is not a development team. PJ Washington being on your team is not a development team. Klay Thompson being on your team is not a development team. Daniel Gafford being on your team is not a development team. All of the guys I just mentioned should be off this roster. They should be. And Liam, I love that comment. You said realistically, Klay, PJ, Najee, and Gaff are going to be gone, and they're going to play Aldama off the bench. And that's the problem. Why have they not been gone yet? Why have they not been traded yet? I don't get it. I understand Kyrie provides veteran leadership. Klay provides veteran leadership. The issue is this is not a competitive roster to really make a deep run. So my main problem with all of this is you are $7 million under the cap. Is it worth doing this? I know they don't own their picks, but a scary thing is you got Coop. Are you going to just try winning right now? It doesn't make sense to me. Kyrie's timeline, PJ's timeline, Klay's timeline, none of them match Cooper Flagg's timeline. So now they're stuck with middle tier players and they don't want to blow it up. They're a new ownership. They want to be competitive. But they do not want to blow it up because of their new owners. So bottoming out doesn't help. Great comment. If this is what they're going to roll out with, you know what I think they should do? I think they should hold on to Kyrie. Let Kyrie show you that he's still that guy. I think you should still roll with PJ Washington and Klay Thompson. Allow everybody to build their value up. You're going to be losing games. You're not going to be winning many of them. You're going to be losing games. Let the guys that lost their value last year build their value up and then trade by either the trade deadline or next summer. I think that's the way you got to do it. I think Kyrie should be dealt in the middle of the season. I think Gafford, Klay, PJ, I think they could all be traded to a contender. So it should be interesting to see what they do. Honestly, Risacher being there, it doesn't make me jump in excitement. I hope they try to develop him. I hope they do, because right now the Maverick situation, it's very log jammed in that spot. It's very log jammed. It should be interesting. It should be very, very interesting. Now, I didn't talk about Ryan Nembhard, but he also is moving towards Atlanta. Yeah, that's another thing. The owner's more worried about putting casinos in the arena than winning basketball. And that is true. That is true. And I do think healthy Kyrie, healthy Gafford, healthy Coop, I think a healthy team, they could be a play-in team. Why not? And honestly, a play-in team ain't that bad now. A play-in team is not that bad. You honestly want to be in the play-in now. You got the best odds. So if that's the plan and just unload everybody at the trade deadline, you know what I mean? I think that's a great move. I think if you are teetering between a non-play-in team and a playoff and a non-playoff team, I think that could be good. I think they could be, and that's a great comment in the TikTok, bro. Jaden, shout out to you. You know ball. I think a great comparison for the Mavs in the East is the Charlotte Hornets. I think both teams scream play-in, sneaky play-in team, and one that could honestly make the playoffs through the play-in. Those are great comments. There's some people that really know ball over there in the TikTok. You guys should come through to the Twitch. That's Jay-Z Uncut. The link is in my bio. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch, guys. If you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will personally gift you a $6 subscription so you do not get ads over here. Shout out Ryan Nembhard. Honestly, he did his thing last year. I liked what Ryan did. Now, as you guys know, the Mavericks were riddled with injuries last year. They were riddled with injuries last year. So Ryan Nembhard, he got to come in and he got the ball out and show that he actually can hoop in the NBA. Yeah, Lively's career might be scared. I don't want to talk about Lively's career, so please don't even bring that up with me. I appreciate you guys for reminding me about Lively's injury. I don't want to talk about Lively. He scares me. I want him to be healthy, but his injuries are scaring me, okay? Let's talk about Ryan Nembhard very briefly. He played 60 games last year. 27 of them he started. He just got thrown into the starting lineup. He averaged 6.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, half a steal, 41.5% from the field, and 36% from three. Those are really good numbers for a young guard, and I think he will sneak his way in to the Atlanta Hawks rotation. Now, you guys are probably thinking, JC, you're crazy. There's no chance. Listen, y'all, they have no guard depth. They don't. Ryan Nembhard will be playing games. They got rid of Keaton Wallace, who my Hawks fans out here is basically the Karis LeVert of the Pistons last year. Whenever Keaton Wallace stepped onto the court for the Hawks, every Hawks fan and their mothers all said, "Oh, Quinn, why are you putting Keaton in?" Just like with Pistons fans, whenever JB would put Karis LeVert in, we all said, all right, bye-bye to our lead. So Keaton Wallace was the Karis LeVert equivalent. Funny enough, Karis LeVert was on the Hawks as well. But I think Kingston Flemings is going to be playing. And I think Ryan Nembhard could get minutes for this team. I genuinely believe that. He's a good player. He's confident in ball handling. And I think Flemings is obviously going to get the preferred play time. But at least you know that if CJ needs some rest, you got Ryan Nembhard. You got Flemings. And I don't think they should be worried about that. I think it's always good to have a competent third point guard. You know what I mean? Look at the Pistons last year. Look at other teams who had injured. The Dallas Mavericks. Look how many guards they had injured. A lot of look at the Philadelphia 76ers. When Tyrese Maxey was out, they were cooked. It's always good to have backup point guards. They're very important in today's NBA. I mean, look at every successful team over the last few years. The Pacers had TJ McCollum behind Tyrese Halliburton. The Thunder, they had Jerry McCain, AJ Mitchell, Casey Wallace, I guess a mixture of them. Alex Caruso, they just had a bunch of guards behind. So every great team, they do have a good backup guard. And I think the Hawks have set themselves up to have a good roster. I am just unsure about the cohesion of this unit. I'm very confused. It should be interesting. Prosperous came in and said, my Wizards are winning this year. Your Wizards are winning more games than last year. Correct. They are. Correct. You are absolutely right. If there's ever a game they don't have CJ and or Kingston, they can still win. And that is the biggest detail that a lot of people don't think about. Having a third PG is super valuable. It's super valuable. They really won't skip a beat, and that's why they went out and got Nembhard. They realized that they're not going to need another wing in Zaccharie Risacher, especially with what they've tried to develop in him. I feel for him. Wow, that's a great comment that I think is going to be one of the last comments we read. Prosper said the Wizards have the most complete roster in the East. I'm not going to even. I was going to go ahead and look at your roster. What I'll say in response to you, Prosperous, is you lost your reading access. I am not reading any of your messages for a long, long time. So I appreciate you being in the Twitch stream, but a comment like that gets you on my shun list. So yeah, you are shunned, my boy. I will let you know when. Listen, I love what the Wizards have built, and what they acquired, but let's not get too crazy now. I mean, we'll probably never see you once we're past the All-Star break in this season. But now that you're here in the summer, I'll let you enjoy it. I'll let you enjoy talking about that. I'm not going to keep sleeping. I think the Wizards, I think they could be a sneaky play-in team. I think if fully healthy, which we're talking about Anthony Davis and Trae Young here, that's not going to happen. So I think with injuries, they'll be a play-in team. And I think fully healthy, yes, they could be a top 6 team in the East. But to say that they are the most complete roster in the NBA when you are rolling out a bunch of first year, second year, and third year players mixed in with Anthony Davis, it's a little tricky to say that. It's a little tricky to say that. And I'm very familiar with the Wizards. I'm extremely familiar with the Wizards. I watched a lot. Anyways, we're not talking about the Wizards today. We'll talk about the Wizards later. But yeah, I will continue sleeping. On the Wizards. I think they're a top 10 team. Absolutely. Guaranteed top 10 team. I think they could be a sneaky top 8 team. for sure. For sure. Rudy, I keep seeing you spam the same comment. Pistons letting Tobias Harris go ruin them. You keep spelling his name wrong and you keep copying and pasting the same message. I don't care. I'm going to miss Tobias Harris, but John Collins is an upgrade in every which way, except for ISO scoring. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to do it for today's show. If anybody has any questions or concerns, now's the right time to ask, because obviously today's going to be a shorter podcast since we really only had the trade to talk about. We will be back Wednesday talking about the next few teams in our list, about the development and where they are, where they're going, and what my predictions would be for those teams. So if you guys have anything else, oh yeah, shout out to Yax, Yaxel for the Golden State Warriors. Shout out to him for winning Summer League MVP. He was the oldest guy in the draft, and it also helps to have that maturity. The Warriors had a really good Summer League team, so shout out to Yaxel for winning his first award in the NBA. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I know there was competition, but yeah, they gave it to Yax. They give it to Yax. So it should be, now that Summer League is done, it's going to be a long, long wait until preseason. It's going to be a long, long time. Any other comments, any questions, any concerns? Guys, if you are enjoying the stream and the TikTok, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. I don't know when LeBron's signing, man. I don't know. I have no idea. Listen, man, I've praised the Wizards plenty throughout this offseason. I've praised them plenty. The Wizards are, again, a top 10 team, top 6, I think, could be in the realm of possibility, Prosperous. But, you know, Prosperous, if you're not here, just know I'm going to be thinking about you when you guys are below 500 in March. I'm going to be thinking about you. World Cup over. Yes. Shout out Spain. I thought everybody was telling me they were going to rig it for Messi, but that didn't happen. Yeah, Summer League ended. Yeah. I think LeBron, I think the time is going to come. He's got all of your attention and you guys are all asking me about it. So obviously he's getting exactly what he wants. LeBron is getting all the attention and all the desire and all of the drama that entails with LeBron James, which is why last year was never going to be his last season in the NBA. But somehow he fooled some idiots into thinking that he wasn't going to do a full-on farewell tour. This is LeBron James, everybody. He needs the eyes and the attention and the talk and the spotlight on him at all times. Listen, I love LeBron James. He's one of my favorite players of all time. But I hate when people say, "Oh my God, could this be his last year?" He will let you know when it's his last year. He will let you know. He will let you know. He's the biggest drama queen ever in NBA history. And I love LeBron. All right. Nyman, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I do believe the Wizards will be a play-in team. I absolutely do believe that. How do you think the Spurs will go this season? How do I think they'll go? I think they'll improve. I think teams will start trying to build something to like be a Wemby stopper. I think they're going to have guys just follow him and be hard with him. Because while Wemby is still at his weakest physically, teams are going to continue throwing those Isaiah Hartensteins and Walker Kesslers at him to try to move him. But I think the Spurs they're obviously going to be a championship contending team. Obviously, you have Wembanyama. Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are finishing up today's podcast. So if you guys have any NBA talk, please feel free to let me know. Prosper said, did y'all, he really loves talking about this. Did y'all forget Trey had the weak playoff Hawks team? He has a way better team now with a front court of doom. Do you realize that was 5 years ago, Prosperous? Okay, I'm not, you have made me talk too much about the Wizards today. That was 5 years ago, my friend, when the Hawks made the conference finals. That was 5 years ago. That was 5 years ago. I know the Trae Young last year that got traded for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum and nothing else. That's the Trae Young I know. I know Trae Young's three-point shot has abandoned him. Trae Young is the #1 worst defender in the entire NBA. In case you don't know that, statistically, he is the only defender worse than Jalen Brunson at defending. So shout out Trae Young for being the #1 worst defender in the entire NBA. Shout out Trae Young for playing 15 games total last year. Yeah, Trae Young is a great playmaker. Trae Young's a great facilitator. But Trae Young is, that's what he is. He can't shoot anymore. He can't stay healthy anymore. And he is the #1. I need you to hear me. He is the #1 worst defender in the entire NBA right now. I'm sorry to break it to you. I know you're a Wizards fan, but you're ignoring the obvious here. 7 Pow, thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, very much. Shout out to you guys leaving the TikTok and joining the conversation on Twitch. Yeah, we still don't have any news on the Kawhi Leonard situation. Still don't have any. Liam said, I've been seeing a lot of judgment about Zion, and rightfully so, but I will be the first one to say congrats to him for going into his second season in a row and keeping his body right and staying out of the drama. And Liam, while I fully agree with you, I got fooled by skinny Zion last year, so I don't really want to talk about that right now, man. If you want to talk, bro, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. He said, I don't really care for Trey. I'm high on the full team. Well, Trey is the leader of your team. So what are you, so what? You're relying, so if you don't care about Trey, that means you think Anthony Davis is going to be healthy, correct? I don't know, man. I don't know. The Wizards do have a fun team. I'm really excited to watch them play. And I think at their best, they could be a six seed in the East, fully healthy. I do believe. I think Sarr's going to jump. I think Trae Young is going to help Alex Sarr a lot. I think this guy just responded to his own comment saying, you know ball. He commented about Trae Young and then responded to himself saying, you know ball. 7Pow, thank you so much for the big follow thank you for the follow and the tier 1 sub on Twitch. I genuinely appreciate that more than you could ever possibly understand. 7Pow, if you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I personally gift you a $6 subscription. The fact that you just subbed on your own, thank you so much, baby. I really do appreciate you, bro. Thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you. Much love to you, bro. Had to subscribe after the Trae Young slander. Listen, man, Trae Young is one of those guys in our generation that we will look back 15 years from now and think, damn, he had us convinced. Like a Joe Johnson, who was all NBA, all-star. I think Joe Johnson was all NBA at some point, and never really much more. You know, I don't hate Trae Young, but I'm very honest about his evaluation. Trae Young is the #1 worst defender in the entire NBA, and he should be treated as such. His three-point shot also abandoned him. Who do you think is the most underrated player currently? The underrated player currently. That's a great comment. So underrated, in my opinion, is not ranked top 25 around the league. That's what underrated to me is. Not top 25. So based off of that, the most underrated, that's a great question that I honestly just don't have the answer to off rip. Guys I think of are like Davion Mitchell, good comment. Asar Thompson. I think Paulo's top 25. Just off the dome. I don't think I'll put Paulo in there. I think Paulo is a top 25 player. What about all time? Nah, that's a different topic for after the podcast. Neagle, thank you so much for the resub on Twitch as well for 35 months, man. That genuinely means a lot. Thank you so much. But yeah, sure. Jay Huff. Okay. Now that we're getting into that kind of the podcast, I like Keyshawn George. I like Keontae George. I like both of the Georges. Laurie Marketing, horrible defender, great scorer. So yeah, definitely. You see, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am going to go ahead and end today's podcast. If you guys did enjoy, we are still live on Twitch. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Link is in my bio. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. TikTok listeners, YouTube listeners, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. All right. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will be back Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Podcast will begin at 9 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate you all so very much. I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, y'all, thank you for watching / listening. And I'll catch you guys Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Love y'all.